All right, let's get right into it. So you've got the Duke Blue Devils, and they are fresh off of a really tough loss to their biggest rival, North Carolina. They walk into Pittsburgh, and there is just this huge question mark hanging right over their heads. Were they going to bounce back, or were they about to walk straight into another ACC trap? And yeah, that was the vibe in the air. The Pittsburgh Panthers, they're at home and they are looking to pull off a big-time shocker. You know, they could smell blood in the water. You've got a Duke team that's probably reeling from that emotional loss. The stage was absolutely set for a classic ambush. And when you look at the matchup on paper, I mean, it is just night and day. On one side, you have Duke, literally the tallest team in the entire ACC. On the other, Pitt, the smallest. And if that wasn't enough, Duke had their full roster, ready to go. The Panthers, though, they were so beat up by injuries, they only had 8 scholarship players dressed. This really had all the makings of a true David versus Goliath story. And you know what? Early on, David came out swinging hard. You could just feel the upset brewing as Pitt just decided to throw a massive 3-point party. And man, did they catch Duke sleeping. See, Pitt knew their only chance against a taller, deeper team was to turn this thing into a shootout. So even though they were undermanned, they came out with this incredible energy and just launched a relentless barrage from three-point land. The home crowd was going nuts, and the Blue Devils looked like they were scrambling, trying to figure out what just hit them. So who's the guy that kicked this whole thing off? A guy named Romano, and he was just unconscious. He knocked down 3 straight threes in the first half alone. It was this stunning performance that gave Pitt all that early juice. But here's the thing, it wasn't a one-man show. Just when it seemed like Duke was starting to key in on Romano, boom, another Panther gets hot. Barry Dunning Jr. steps right up and joins the parade, making this threat very, very real. And get this, he also hit 3 threes. All of a sudden, you're looking at the scoreboard and, wait a minute, the smallest, most beat-up team in the conference is actually winning this thing? You had to wonder if Duke was about to get run right out of the building. But then, just when you thought the upset was happening, everything flipped. See, the best teams, they respond when they get punched in the mouth. And right on cue, Duke woke up. This right here was the turning point of the entire game. And it's how they did it that was so impressive. Duke just completely flipped the script with this dominant run that spanned both halves of the game. They started clawing back at the end of the first. They went into the locker room to regroup, and then they came out absolutely on fire to start the second. They ripped off a huge 12-0 run that just seized total control. The whole thing was built on defense. I mean, the Blue Devils just put the clamps on. They played with an intensity that completely shut down Pitt's offense. They were so disciplined, so locked in, that they held the Panthers without a single foul for nearly 10 minutes of game time. Just think about that for a second. A team that was living by the 3 suddenly couldn't even get a clean look. That is just suffocating defense. So, with the defense just locking everything down, it was time for the stars to come out on offense. And for Duke, 2 players in particular basically decided, okay, this is our game now. First up, you've got Caleb Foster. He was the engine of this comeback. While Pitt was trying to live and die from the 3-point line, Foster just relentlessly attacked the paint. He was a blur out there, dicing drives to the hoop, finishing tough shots through contact, and then when the defense collapsed on him, kicking it out to open teammates. He completely changed the way the game was being played. So while Foster is just carving up the inside, his teammate is getting ready to drop bombs from the outside. The announcer, I think, said it perfectly. With Pitt's energy fading, what's the best way to kill it for good? The answer to that question? Isaiah Evans. The kid was absolutely lethal. He knocked down a staggering 5 3-pointers in this game. It felt like every single time Pitt tried to make a little run, Evans was right there with a back-breaking shot that just silenced the entire arena. So you put it all together, that inside attack, that outside marksmanship, and that's how Duke didn't just escape with a win, they turned a potential disaster into a definitive statement. Okay, so let's fast forward. It's late in the second half. The game's still technically within reach for Pitt, but Duke needs one more bucket to really put it away for good. And of course, the ball finds its way to the hottest hand on the court, Isaiah Evans. He takes the pass, gives a little shot fake to create some space, rises up, and hits an absolute dagger. Game over. You could literally feel all the air just go right out of the building. And just like that, what started as a real nail-biter, a game that looked like it could be a huge upset, ended as a 16-point blowout. It was just a powerful reminder of how quickly this Duke team can turn a game completely on its head when they're locked in.
So what's the real takeaway here? On the one hand, Duke got punched in the mouth, and they responded exactly how you'd want a championship contender to respond. But the bigger question, the one that's going to define their whole season, is this. Was this a sign of true championship grit and consistency? Or was it just a really talented team flexing its muscles against a wounded, outmatched opponent? That, right there, is the answer we're all waiting to see.